This is an Alter Nerd Reality podcast.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to a very special episode of the Alter Nerd Reality podcast. It's probably going to be closer in format to the porn and politics, if you will. I'm your returning host, Chewburger84, and joining me, as always, is the very angry but very excited. We're all very confused about how we feel about this week. Hebrewhammer, how are you, bud?
I'm very good. I was just about to make a poor taste joke, but I decided against it last second. So, there you go. You'll never know now.
I'm sorry. Are you new here? That's what we do.
This one was really poor taste. So, I decided to edit that one out ahead of time. But yeah, it's good to finally do another PMP episode, basically.
Absolutely. So look, we're going to be talking about the insanity this week, folks. That is the WallStreetBets meets Wall Street meets GameStop meets STONKS, you name it. It's got all the ingredients of an absolutely sensational story. So because there's so much to cover, we had to bring in some help. So Hebrew has called for backup. So welcome to the show, Leland. How are you, champ?
I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You brought your ASMR voice back.
I was gonna say you've changed your voice from pre-record just for the ladies. I've got if you're trying to sell to ladies right now, I've got some real bad news for you about this podcast.
You know what it is? I drank some tea beforehand, and I was like trying to like get it ready for a normal voice, and just backfired on me real hard. So
and that's a sexy, so weird. A sexy voice just popped out. It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah. All right,
nice.
so Leland, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into this topic.
We got all diamond hands first off, but I'm a musician. I'll explain that. Yep. See, I'm a musician. I play in a touring band called Try More Mojo, and I actually just released some of my own single music for the first time under the name Plain Keys. And
plug.
Yep, you got to, man. It's PLANEKEYS, no space, capital PK. Anyway, oh look, that rhymed. I got to make that a thing.
I thought that was on purpose. That was so well.
That
put.
was absolutely just off the cuff.
You should,
but
you should do that more often. Yeah,
I think I need to do some jingles or something. So if anybody wants a jingle, let me know.
There you go.
But yeah,
new ANR Sting coming soon. Then
there we go. You know, get a little get some synthesizers in your life. But yeah, I've been a musician full time for the past few years, touring until COVID, and then had a lot of free time and a little bit of a stimmy check, and decided to figure out what this GameStop thing was about.
A stimmy check, I like that one too.
A stimmy check. It definitely sounds like some sort of medical procedure on like Pornhub or something.
Yes, sir. I need to do a stimmy check for you. Could you just bend over real fast for me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, God.
And cough.
Give me flashbacks.
Now, given the intro of our friend Leland here, and obviously you guys know myself and Hebrew, so let's start off with obviously the fact that none of us have any fucking idea what we're talking about when it comes to this particular topic, but it is so goddamn interesting. We've all deep dived. I know that Hebrew's been messing with the stock game for a little while there, right? You invest in a few passionate stonks.
Yeah, like very lightly, like basically investing in things I liked, and then one of them worked out massively for me before this all started, which was Tesla. So yeah, I mean, like my stock game was not close to what it is now, just after doing research from all of this. But yeah, I mean, like I think I've been in stocks the longest, I guess, by a good bit from you guys.
It definitely sounds that way. So let's talk about this situation. So it's been all over the news this week. If you were like us when it first started, you're probably like, I have no idea what this terminology is. What the hell is a short sell or long sell? What is a Wall Street bet? There's a lot of other words on Wall Street bets we can't use, but that's hilarious reasons we'll talk about very shortly. So why is this in the news? What is happening? So Leland, what's your understanding of what kind of triggered this? Why did these Wall Street bets, community-based gamblers, if you will, go so hard after GameStop?
So I believe, to my very limited understanding, and I will freely say that I am by no means a financial advisor and have just been deep diving.
You are really padding this.
I am making sure. You know, just because I'm just a big dummy, and as it's been described on WallStreetBets, we are by no means anything coordinated. We're just a bunch of monkeys throwing our shit in the same direction.
There you go.
So that's what this is, and I believe it all started from whenever the legend himself, Deep Fucking Value, found that there was that Melvin the Melvin & Co. I believe is what they go by. The hedge firm had shorted GameStop. I believe it was like 141%.
113, I think it was.
I think that's what it got down to. I've seen a lot of numbers. That's so somewhere over 100%, which is impossible, right?
Right. Shouldn't have happened.
And I've come to find, and I haven't done too much research on this, but there's already court filing against them before any of this stuff in the past couple days of that they naked shorted it, meaning they didn't have anywhere near the money to cover in case this happened, which is already illegal.
Yeah.
But it's done all the time. But this time it got called. So whenever DFV saw that there was a short, he just kind of went all in on it. And I believe he bought like 500 shares at 20 cents or something like that, and was holding and like one of the only people in the stock whenever it was just completely in the hole. And then the traction started building, and as the shorts were still sitting there, the WallStreetBets all started galvanizing and coming together. And as I said at the beginning, all the monkeys started throwing their shit in the same direction. And then basically the calls are coming up for the shorts, and that's why we've seen it explode to the level that it is in these past couple days.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that guy. So, I mean, he invested something like $750K at the start of this. Because what was it at the bottom? It was about $2 a share, right?
It was something, yeah, I think I said 20 cents. It was like 0.2 something like per share. So he got in.
Deep fucking value.
Yeah,
I think he invested only 50,000.
Well,
so if you look at his sheets
buys.
though, it's more like 750. Yeah.
Yes. So what it was is that the first one, it was like very little money. It was like $5,000 or something. It wasn't that much, but at the time to invest in that stock was literally no one was doing it. I mean, quite the opposite. You know, this huge hedge firm
2019 was this big.
Right.
His first big bet.
His first one. And then I think it was at some point last year, I'm going to WallStreetBets now to try to find it. He then decided to like really go in with what she was talking about, where he did his 757,000 or whatever it was. And I think he's currently worth 47 million as of closed market today.
Damn, dude. Fuck, I wish I was him.
I know. And that's bearing in mind that like it was $100 higher before we saw absolute fuckery of the market, which we are 100% going to get to. But let's go back to basics, because I'm going to get my crayons out here, guys, and go, this is how I understand what a short is. All right, you ready?
Yes.
So my understanding of shorts, and I guarantee I'm going to be a sentence in, you guys are going to go, stop, you're wrong. But let's try anyway. So... what these companies do is they identify a company that from either something they know on the inside or something about trends in the market, something they've noticed with maths. They basically say this company's value is going to go down, significantly over the next little while. And what they do is they bet on that. Or so what they'll do then is they will borrow existing shares from people that have a lot of them, or borrow capital to get those. And then they'll basically say, I'm going to buy them from you at the current price. And then I'm going to give them back to you with maybe a little bit of a fee on the top of it in a certain period of time. And then what they do is they basically game the market to drive those prices down. And then they basically keep the difference in that, if you will. So they make themselves a bunch of money by buying them out at the bottom, but then getting them back out to the people they borrowed them from. How's that sound so far?
Yes, but just to expand more on the gaming the system part, basically once the borrowed shares are in their hands, then they sell it off. This is how they game it, is that they then sell it off to another party for a certain amount above that amount. And then whenever the price continues to go down, because they bet on it going down, they're going to be buying them back at the lower cost and then returning it to the original investor, gaining the net profit. So that's the gaming part, just expanding on that part.
And the strategy of these guys with what they've been doing at WallStreetBets, again, call me any second I'm going off the path of what's right here, is that they basically said, what we can do here is mess with this in a couple of different ways. The main one being that if we start buying rapidly, it's going to drive the price up, not down. And that's going to basically force them to miss out on their short, and they're going to have to try and get real fuckery to try and keep up with us. That was at the start. Obviously, then when they started to realize that they had enough buying power, because the amount of people that were streaming into WallStreetBets, even before it became the mainstream, media explosion that it has been over the last couple of days, They realized they had
Right.
enough buying power to really, really fuck this company into the ground.
Yeah.
Because isn't there like a secondary
Yeah.
condition that if it actually goes the other way, but by a certain percentage point, that there's actually like an additional cost or something?
So the longer they hold the shorts, there's interest. So
Yes,
basically, everything you said is correct. But what's interesting is because they went in and bet the short, they're trying to get everybody to sell the stock, right?
Yeah.
Well, you have to sell it to somebody, so everybody's taking options and buying the stock. So it's not just that they bought fast and that they bought and drove the price up. The quick thing to do would just be make the money on the short like that. It's a little mini squeeze of like a few people that get a coordinated attack with enough buying power and clear a few percent on top. They've held. And that's the difference. That's what made this powerful is the diamond handing that deep fucking value is showing. That's where the true, oh shit, we have the buying power. We just literally don't have to do anything else. Just sit on it and buy more every time they sell it off.
Right.
So now the number of short stocks, or the number of stocks that they are short, we will own more and we will own all of what they have to come back at. So they'll have to start buying back in. Thus, the
and the
moon rocket
key,
ride.
the perfect storm that was created out of this was the throwback to how there was more shares borrowed than there was actual shares. That's the key to why this is such a fucking firestorm right now.
And AMC and BlackBerry and all these other things, why people are on the scheme for that.
Yeah, for the same reasons. And so yeah, this combined fucking ridiculousness that's going on, that's been created, is because people are holding, they're desperately trying to, basically, they're going to be ending up upping their offer more and more and more because they can't afford to hold on to the stocks. So they have to just keep upping their price until people sell. And by that math, it can literally, like, if people hold out long enough, it can go to whatever number they fucking want. I guess the only way that it would stop going up is if they bring themselves into bankruptcy and the people that they've borrowed from into bankruptcy, basically.
And that's essentially the plan of the real people that are in the real money, the deep values, everybody else who have tens of millions of dollars that stand to become 100 millionaires, like high digit 100 millionaires. Because I mean, think about it. We're sitting at 300 right now. We're talking about 10,000 a stock, 5,000 a stock. They're gonna take all the money.
Well, don't forget the meme tier there as well. Like, bear in mind that like these guys, their dream goal is to get the prices to 69,420.69.
Exactly.
A stock, yeah.
Per stock.
A stock, which is ridiculous, never going to happen.
Yeah.
But
It was
amazing.
420.69. It was 420.69 was the original joke goal that they have now shattered. So
I know they pushed it. I remember watching the forum at the time. They were like, "All right, guys, we joked about this, but we can actually make some money here. Stop fucking selling it to keep it at 420.69, you idiots." It was so good.
yeah, like not only that, go take off all your stop buys. Like whenever it hits there, do not sell. Like do not sell at 420. Like your stop limit needs to go to 10,000.
So my question is, though, what happens whenever, because I genuinely don't know this, what happens whenever the people who borrowed the stocks literally can't pay them back and they've are now basically bankrupt because they can't afford to pay them back? What happens to the stocks then?
So from my limited understanding, and anybody please jump in, the point of, and kind of where I was going with the guys who have the real money, is this is now about, it's not about selling and cashing out on this. It's about controlling and changing the dynamic of the stock market. And that's why the hold the line diamond handing is so important. And it's gone well past just, holy shit, guys, we can make a lot of money. This has turned into, this is the revolution. This is the moment that we can actually change how Wall Street operates and how the stock market operates and finally make it for the people. And
so is the key that moment then? Is that the moment, like, we don't know what's on the other side or something like that? Like whenever this thing bursts and they don't have money to pay it back, and then the stocks are just like, the borrowed stocks are just like there, like we don't know what to do with them or how to give them back? Because I feel like that's the real question mark scenario right now.
I believe it's all because there's always somebody with deeper pockets So the guys.
So you think it then all of a sudden becomes up for buy or something?
The brokers, I believe, that fund the hedge funds are now the ones responsible for it, and they do have that much money.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to talk about a couple of those guys over the course of this conversation as well. So, I mean, the most important thing to understand with what we're talking about there is that these guys have to basically cover it. Like, they have to be able to recommit the amount of shares that they committed to at the start back to this company. It's, it creates this amazing potential for an infinite loop. But let me play devil's advocate. I'm very much team WallStreetBets here. Oh, man. I'm very much team WallStreetBets, but I need to play devil's advocate here because we came very close to this point just now, is what happens basically in two different moments. One, if there is some cascade of absolute devastation that, let's say, somehow either the government or like somehow in Wall Street they manipulate the rules to get out of this, or if they actually succeed and after the squeeze is done, there is going to be an extreme like rebound of this. That rubber band is 100% going to snap back on this GameStop stock. Like, it is 100% going to fall by hundreds of dollars when one of those moments comes. Now, the question is, where does this level of honor with the Wall Street Bets guys stop? Because at the moment, like, the rhetoric is awesome to see. Like, I'm 100% on board with sticking a massive cock up the arse of Wall Street, hashtag no lube, right? I'm 100% on board. They deserve fucking everything they get. Yeah, oh no, 100%. But here's the thing. These are real investors now. And you're going to get a lot of people who are using, like you said, stimulus checks that they probably can't afford to lose. But at the moment, they're seeing these gains, right? Whoever is left at the end who can't sell off quick enough to get out at the top, you're going to get some people left holding the bag at the end. And the question is, who is that going to be?
Oh, yeah.
Is Deep fucking Value or someone like that going to sit by and say, for the good of the people, because I can afford to do it, I'll be the last guy out. I'll be the one that takes the hit. Or is he going to be the first guy out to say, fuck you guys, I'm gonna take my, as you said, like, triple figures in the millions, like $300-400 million, and say, I'll feel bad about you guys from my yacht. I mean, honor comes to a certain point, because there is going to be a lot of people that are going to lose a shit ton of money, and people are saying that they're happy to do it for the cause, but that's all a very fine sentiment until it fucking happens. Right?
To
and that's
you,
what worries
and you actually
me.
Watch.
100%. And no one thinks that they're going to be the guy with his dick in his hand. And, it's going to happen to some people. 100% it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that no one is really under the illusion that it's going to hold for that long. Like, it's not. There's just no way. People are going to see big dollar signs like they honestly were never expecting on returns, because a lot of these people are retail investors. Granted, a lot of them are definitely like big corporate entities that have invested as well silently. And they're like, yeah, fuck it, fuck the system, go Wall Street Bets. Meanwhile, they're also going to be making a whole bunch, and they can react faster than any of us can. So, like, there's a lot of that going on too. It's not just retail investors, but for the retail investors, especially, like, I feel like, those fringe investors that, as you said, Shu, like, just got in on the stimmy checks, and I think that they're going to see some big numbers come from these small amounts of money that they put in. I think that they're going to be out pretty soon, and I wouldn't blame them. So I think that this is going to be like, at most, I would imagine that this is going to be a $5,000 a stock thing, and that's like probably dream scenario. Realistically, I don't see it going above anything like that. I don't even see it getting to that at all, but like, I certainly don't see it going anything past that. So I would imagine people are going to be out around then. I don't know what you guys think,
but not everyone can sell at that price. And more importantly, when it gets to that point, like, you're going to get people who don't want to buy it anymore either. That's what I'm saying, is that, like, I mean, let's say Deep Value sold his stocks today. Just him, with the amount of stocks that he sold, for example. And it doesn't sound like he would. I'm not trying to cast aspersions on that guy, because in my eyes, he's one of the heroes of the piece. I know nothing about the guy other than what's happening here. But when I look at this situation, if just that one guy sold his shares, that cascade effect from that many being back in the market would instantly tank the price. And that means that, like, let's say it got to $5,000 a share, right?
Yeah.
The second he does that, it's going to drop to like what, 2,600, 2,500, like conservatively. And then all of a sudden, the next guys that are selling out, they're selling at 2.5. People see that. Like, you saw how fast it declined with the Robinhood fuckery, which we're going to come to next. But you saw how quickly it dropped. And that means the people who got out at the bottom lost money. We saw screenshots on WallStreetBets, even when it dropped from 300 to 100, because they bought in at the 300 under these illusions in some cases. Because, like, understand, you guys are pretty switched on. Like, you're understanding it. I know a lot of people that were like us at the start of this week and went, I have no fucking idea what this means. And then now they've got like $4,000 invested in it. And these are the same people that we've like spoken to about their financial hardship because they think there's this, you know, promise coming. And then, of course, like the diamond hands is all well and good, but man, everyone has a number. Like, so what happens when some of these diamond handers go, fuck, $1,000 a share? Bro, I could get a Lambo with this shit. And then they're out, man. It's just like, fuck, man, I could bang a porn star with that kind of money. Like, they're going to bail hard, right? So, I mean, loyalty and, you know, ideology is one thing until we get to that point and we start to see the cracks and then the people left with the bag.
Yeah, I definitely think that that's going to be something that is going to be very interesting to watch, and why I'm glad that I have nothing but time coming in the Monday and Tuesday time frame to really see what's happening. To play the other side of that, because everything you said is 100% a possibility. There are many stories on WallStreetBets of people that, you know, were all in and everybody was like, hurrah, and then the one dude at the top took the money and ran, and like, you know, what are you going to do, be mad at a username on the internet? Like, so it's, you know, as you said, laughing at you from their yacht, right? Or feel sorry from you from their yacht. But I think that it's a testament to what we're really trying to do and the power potential shift of it. I do think that there will be a lot of people that have been yelling diamond hands that go quiet whenever they see 5,000 a share or something. And they're just like, holy shit, I can literally, I mean, this is what I've been waiting for. This is more money than I would have made in my life.
Fun to say, hard to do.
Right. And so I believe that is true, that will happen. But then I also believe that there are people that are so blindly, ambitiously dedicated to this cause that they would instantly buy those shares back. And they would they'd buy the dip as they have been since $20, and they would buy it again because it is fundamentally what they believe in. And this isn't about the bag, because this could become an infinity bag because we break the system and the hedge funds no longer control it. The money is with the people, and the people get to say what the stock market does. And so I think that the longer term vision is something that people will be invested in. However, with that said, I by no means am in this personally to like change Wall Street and like be one of the people that like held my bag and stood my ground type thing. If I see a plummet after the squeeze has happened, after they are buying back and it's the math is coming to fruition, they are having to pay up, then it's time to get out. Then you've won, you've bankrupted the company, you've won, you've made a ton of money, you proved that there was something that the system was broken. Take this humongous stacks and then be able to reinvest that in whatever else and still achieve the same goal. So I think it's a fine line between the two, but I think that there will still be people that walk out of this with hundreds of millions of dollars, and those that end up like with an empty bag in their hand probably were either too prideful or they never were in this for the money. Because I've seen a lot of people talking about that this is very personal for them. They're remembering the 2008 crisis. My family was affected from that. My dad was in the financial industry and lost his job for no reason but other than they decided to completely destroy our market and ended up spitting on people and pouring champagne on them whenever they got their bailouts a few days later. We're now a generation of people that were children and watched our parents have to go through that and remember eating ramen and rice like I did, and we remember what that was like. We remember what it felt like, and by no means did I have it anywhere near as bad as the vast majority of, or a large number of people in America. But now we're those people that have the money, have the intelligence, and have the buying power of a mobile trading app on our phone, and we're not going to let you get away with it this time.
Leland, I think you just realized or just described the fact that we are the Avenger generation.
Yeah. Like, have you
may
guys
not be
seen
able
the
to save
meme
it, but we can damn sure avenge it.
right? It's gonna burn anyway. You don't care about any other thing, but we can make all the money from you at least. Have y'all seen the meme on Wall Street Bets of like the last scene of Endgame with
Avengers.
Thanos and
of course.
Oh, they did one for that?
Oh,
I
dude,
didn't see
it's like Melvin, and he like snaps his fingers, and like he just like looks at his hand, and then like it's like deep fucking value, Wall Street Bets, hold, diamond hands. Like
I love the videos using that scene, dude. It's great.
My favorite part of that whole thing is just you just see this one part, it's like scrolling and it's got like all the people and then just randomly has the words fucking Europe over the entire Wakandan army. It's so good. It comes
so
out of
great.
nowhere, man.
I'm looking at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
so
looking at
good.
that right after.
The memes on Wall Street Bets are amazing. I mean, it's the
Let's
usual
not forget that this
recycling.
literally started. It started as this was a meme. This was a joke. Like this, just like
it did start off as a
Dogecoin.
joke,
Like
yeah.
this was all a joke. This was like, yeah, we're gonna save GameStop, and they were like, holy shit, wait a minute, we're gonna save GameStop. Holy shit, we're gonna save GameStop. Like it was just like this.
Yeah.
These memes turned
Now,
into reality.
Let's
Self-fulfilling
talk about
prophecy
that
for sure.
So this is the last part of my devil's advocate. All right, what
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck
For GameStop?
happens to GameStop
Yeah.
at the end of this? Right? Are these guys really gonna hold their line and say, I just love the stocks, I just love the company? Because before this, man, like I don't even live in the US, but we had an equivalent of these guys in Australia called EB Games. And like I remember the memes of
have a
GameStop.
few
You
of those.
take in your fucking PS4 console and say, "Hey man, I want the next generation. What do you give me for this?" And they go, "I don't know, like $1.20." Like they're not exactly the most fucking wholesome organization either, just quietly. But how much loyalty is there to this place?
I mean, not a lot, because especially after the coronavirus, people lost a lot of faith in them too, because they forced their employees to work through it and stuff like that with some pretty shitty conditions. So they got a lot of really bad PR from that. But they were kind of coming back on the up and up, just because there was a few big investors that hopped in, like the guy from Chewy, like the guy that created Chewy hopped in and like for like 10% because he was like the key, or like the reason why GameStop won't go away is because the new generations will have discs basically. And then they made a big deal with Microsoft to become like basically a game streaming platform. So they had things in the works, but then like I think that had like just kind of started happening right before all of this. So I really don't know what's going to happen with it. It might be like tainted goods at this point, like whenever things are done with it, or it might be championed. Like there really isn't a firm belief either way. I think the market will basically speak for itself when it's all over with. But personally, I think they're probably going to be trashed after this. But it'll be pretty interesting to see. I have no idea. Leland, do you have a take on that one?
Yeah, so my the guitar player in my band, Try More Mojo, if y'all have a plug sound, you can put it there.
Plug.
But my excuse me, ASMR voice was almost coming back. But his buddy, I believe, he works at GameStop or is in social media with GameStop or something, and that was his big concern whenever I started telling him about like what was happening. He was like, "Well, what happens to GameStop?" And the summary that I seem to find on Wall Street Bets essentially is everyone was cool with not giving GameStop their business before. Why would they give GameStop their business now? So like it's kind of like, I saw another meme on Wall Street Bets that was with the surge in stock prices, GameStop can now offer you 5 cents for your PS4 or something like that. It was like,
There you go.
So it's one of those things of like, we lost one soldier to win the war kind of situation. And then the other side of the coin that I've seen is that this will bring enough light to GameStop to highlight what you're talking about, Mike, as far as the new gaming platform being partnered with things, having younger people at the helm, more innovative, all that kind of stuff. This will be their moment of if they can make it or not, because they'll have so much attention on them and so much light. If they have a good sales and marketing department, if they have anybody in that staff of their 14,000 employees that are worth a shit at sales and marketing, how the hell could you not get an investor right now? Are you kidding me? The people just made hundreds of millions of dollars off of you. Find someone to give you $1 million to keep you afloat for a month.
Well, see, here's the problem, though, is that most of that initial stock bump they had before this started was off the back of them announcing they were shifting to more of a digital platform.
Right.
Like, especially because the guy from Chewy came on. So the thing is, a lot of people are using the talking point right now of, these guys shorting GameStop was going to cost them like 10,000 employees. And I agree with that. That's complete fuckery and real assholery on the part of Wall Street. But they're going to axe those people anyway, because the brick and mortar future of GameStop does not look bright. And that's where most of those employees are. They'll get rid of them. They'll hire 15 guys, probably outsourced out of India or China, because that's the way this generally goes. Yep. And then, that's where their online platforms will come from. They might get some on-air talent to do some streaming and blah, blah, blah. But these jobs that everyone's sort of saying right now is a talking point of, these guys are defending the employees of GameStop. I don't think that GameStop, they've been uber quiet on that point. Do you know what I mean? They're not going out going, they've saved the jobs of these 10,000 people. They're like, okay, we'll take the stock injection.
Wait, we have an excuse to get rid of it? We were just going to look terrible. This is awesome.
Yeah, I can't imagine what GameStop has been saying through this. And they're like, we fucking love this joke. Yeah, fuck Wall Street, guys. This is terrible.
I think they've actually been pretty silent because they don't want the SEC to light them on fire.
That could be it too, because they're going to be looked at with a fucking microscope after this also.
I just wish I had have sent a tweet at the end of 2020 to Elon Musk or Mark Cuban or someone and gone, I will bet you $1 million that GameStop is a Fortune 500 company in 2021.
The lol.
Is that is what happened this week. They actually reached that point. Yeah. Fucking crazy.
Yep.
Well, I think, GameStop is basically... for no reason other than basically right time, right place, it's the battlefield that this huge war is being fought on. And I think when it's done, it's going to be the war-torn place that everyone leaves and doesn't want to sit on. So
that's a good description. It's you'll end up touring it back. There'll be a museum remembering GameStop. So they'll have a little memoriam store. It's third graders get taken there on a school bus and they're really pissed off because they didn't get their sandwich and the teacher was just not having it that day. And they're just get the hell out of the GameStop. Just go. We're going back to class. That's what this will be remembered as.
It'll be a piece of history, but nothing more, probably.
7 years ago, a Reddit user named Deep Fucking Value destroyed
I love how
Street
the hero of the internet will now be named Deep Fucking Value. And also how many more future heroes will be named. We'll have ridiculous names because, with going onto an online platform for most things now, we all have absurd names like League of Legends, for instance. The fact that you have guys named Balls, Big Balls and stuff like that, and then people have to say them professionally. That's
Balls
basically
with the kill.
Yeah, exactly. So
oh my god, what a team play! The Mighty Cucks, they've got it.
Exactly. So we're gonna have a weird history of future heroes, and this is just the beginning of it, I think.
Now, let's get into the real stuff, which is basically where we all start raging against the machine, because I hated a lot of what we've seen in capitalism, especially since 07, 08, because I know the US was the hardest hit internationally. Australia kind of dodged a bullet because we were relatively isolated, but even I felt the effects because I graduated around that time. I was one of those guys that took a break during uni and then went to part-time because I wasn't sure what the fuck I was going to do, And then by the time I graduated, I came out of that and started applying for roles that used to have graduate positions where they would take on a relatively unexperienced person with a degree and then train them up. And 17 interviews in, it was just look, we love you on paper. You've definitely got the goods for this, but I'm really sorry. Those positions don't exist. We need people that have 4 or 5 years experience now. And that happened worldwide, that they just basically doubled down. And the people that are consistently getting fucked by the way capitalism is shifting is that they're shoring up their wealth with, the boomer generation and let's say, the generation after that, some of the Gen Xers, whereas, Y, Z or whatever the fuck they're being called now, millennials, they're really getting screwed by this over and over and over. And there's a building rage within all of us against this system that's designed to fuck us. And I don't think, I always knew the system was pretty fucked, but I guess how blatant we saw the cogs move this week blew me away. So the whole reason this has been possible for these Reddit guys to do this has been because of platforms like Robinhood, which is basically a thing where traditionally you haven't been able to trade on your own, right? It's just that you now have these platforms where you can, as a
Big
private
fees and
investor,
stuff
just
applicable.
flick a couple of things, pay a couple of basic fees, and then away it goes. Like, it's been a real game changer. Like, without places like Robinhood, as much as we're about to take a giant dump on them, this couldn't have happened. Like, it really couldn't.
100%. 100%. You are right. Robinhood changed
It's
the
been
way
incredible.
that people invest.
The whole industry adapt to their model because it was so successful in 2019. But all the singing praise you just gave them and all the truth that you just said is the reason that we're about to absolutely light them on fire.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially like with, when you have your marketing campaigners, we want to give the power to the people. Like, we want them to be able to trade. We want to make everyone in the world a potential investor. Like, it's such a noble sounding goal. But at the end of the day, we've now seen the real colors. So what happened is that we started to see a massive, massive rise in GameStop. And all of these like so-called industry experts, I still don't understand how they didn't see this coming. Like, I heard whispers of it and was like in there because nerds were talking about this shit like a month out. You know what I mean? Like, how are these fucking experts that know everything about, they stick a finger in the air and know which stock's going to blow one way or another? How did they miss this, right? Anyway.
It's almost like they can control that.
And now we know how. So what happened is when these started going massive and these companies like Melvin started to really realize they're about to lose money. I don't know if you saw the figures yesterday, boys. In 2021, and bear in mind, it is the 30th of January, my time zone, 29th for you boys. Already, the industry has lost $70 billion on shorts in 2021.
That's a B.
Because of
That's
shit like this.
That's a big old 70 B. Yep.
Yeah, that is a B.
Oh my
it's
God.
amazing.
It's
think
amazing.
about that. Think about what that means for the average person. Like, think about the wealth inequality and what that's changing. I mean, Europe and Canada buying into this, like, it's changing the dynamic of the world economy because of honestly because we have Robinhood in our hand and because of WallStreetBets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider the pandemic as well, like the top 10 like earners on planet Earth, the people who have the most money, the top 10 had an accumulation of wealth of an extra $500 billion in an 11-month period, which is fucking insane. Like, there has been such an upward trajectory of wealth transfer to a very small amount of people over the last, let's say decade, but especially the last year. It's been insane. To start seeing some of that filter back out is so good to watch, especially to the people who basically trade in nothing at the end of the day. It's like, this is the Seinfeld of jobs. Like, it's realistically a job about nothing. It's all pretend, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, this is the first time whenever we've been able to literally see like power in numbers versus the the few but the powerful. So like it's amazing that like basically a platform and their limited amount of ability to make polls themselves gathered enough force to make a slight combatant for the short stock by a ridiculously powerful hedge fund. And then because of it, all the hype got together and we all banded together and created a way that these guys really got fucked over. I mean, it's totally unprecedented and it's one of the coolest things I've ever, like, at the very least, like, this is just amazing just as like a generational thing.
That's why I took part.
We literally fucked the system.
That's
like,
why I took part.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so at the very least, like, this is something that hasn't been done in a very long time, in a very different way, granted. But like, it's really shown, like, exploited exploited the loopholes that have been classically worked against people and used them for the greater good for the first time, basically. So it's kind of amazing to see this flip around, and because of that, seeing the hypocrisy that's come as like the I guess the rebound effect from the higher ups and the powers that be. So like, I don't know if you want to talk about that part of what happened in consequence to that, Chew.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was getting somewhere with that point before I got distracted about wealth inequality, but it's a great point that Leland made, right? 100% a great point. So what happened a couple of days in when the stock pricing was going insane, and obviously all the Wall Street guys are starting to freak out, is we saw an absolute raft of things happening at once. The biggest one that really shone attention on this was Robinhood, the most hilarious fucking name considering what I'm about to tell you.
Yes.
What they did is they ceased the ability for people through their application to buy more stock. Now, rather than shut down trading on that stock, because their defense was, and it's such a bullshit thing, their defense at the time, and it's changed since this wanker went onto national television, but we'll definitely come to that, is that he was saying it was to protect our customers from the volatility of this stock. If that was true, right, they would have ceased all trading on the stock, would they not? But they didn't do that. They only ceased
100%.
the ability to buy. They still left the button up there to sell. So if you were a naive new investor and you panicked because you saw it tanking because the Wall Street guys started selling the shit, like trading back and forth between each other to drive those numbers down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Then what happens is some of these people did sell. Like some people did because it drove the numbers so far down. But then obviously the WallStreetBets guys rallied and diamond hands, blah, blah, blah. They all said, we're going to hold, we're going to hold. And they all bought. Like this thing actually led into the favor of the WallStreetBets guys because they doubled down and fucking bought those shares back at the cheaper price. So it's been fascinating to watch. But Robinhood's direct intervention to fuck with their own customers' ability to continue to do this was fascinating. But then when you started to like draw the little lines on the board as to why they would do this, you start to find out things that Melvin Capital, the one that they really targeted with this, who they projected probably lost somewhere between $7 and $11 billion already so far on this projected, potentially up to 11 to 13 is where they think it could fall. You find out that that particular organization was bailed out to the tune of $3 billion as a cash injection by a business called Citadel, a massive, massive amount of money behind this company. Then you find out that Robinhood is 40% fucking owned and floated by Citadel. So the people that are getting the most fucked by it, all of a sudden, the people that you're supposed to be looking after, you owe this other company a phenomenal amount of money or loyalty or who knows what kind of obligations they have to Citadel. Robinhood just decided to actively intervene in the market. The SEC didn't ask for this. Wall Street didn't shut down trading because there was accusations of fraud or anything wrong with the stocks. There was no intervention at that level. This was an individual corporation who decided to limit the ability of people to trade, which is, as far as a lot of people have called it, market manipulation on the side of Wall Street. And that's when it fucking exploded all over media, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think, and one of the biggest things here is, they also shut down AMC for the same reasons, which wasn't seeing nearly as much buyer frequency as GameStop was, but it was being affected the same way. So like they knew that one was up and coming in the same way, yet it wasn't seeing the numbers that the other one was. So there was like, it clearly didn't need to happen, but they were trying to protect themselves from that in the future as well. So it wasn't just a move. I think that right there just shows that it wasn't just a move of like, oh, well, we can't because we can't afford it right now. That wasn't the case, because over here in this other stock where everyone knew the same thing was going to happen, they started to do the same thing. The other thing was, it isn't uncommon for brokerage firms to basically stop loaning to buy. That isn't super uncommon at all whenever the margins are thin. But it is incredibly wrong and uncommon for you to bring all cash in. Basically, you float yourself and buy. There is literally no reason why you can't do that on any platform, because the brokerage firm isn't taking care of you. You're taking care of yourself there. So that's why the biggest reason, or that's one of the biggest reasons, I should say, that people are so upset about this, because it isn't necessarily the fact that, like everyone would stop it. It's the fact that, it's the people who brought all cash in and could afford it weren't able to still buy, because there's literally no reason at that point that should have ever happened. So, and that's the problem, that's how Robinhood at least was. I didn't see the interviews from today, but that was Robinhood's defense yesterday, basically, in the ambiguity of their argument against it. They were like, oh, well, there were reasons why. Those are the reasons that they were referring to, but that wasn't the actual case because people were floating themselves.
And it was proven out quickly because the 13 stocks that they picked were all of the ones that were shorted and that had the most potential for this.
Exactly.
And it's just you like randomly picked these 13 are the most volatile. Like, what do you mean? And then their excuse today, well, the CEO's excuse today, excuses, we'll get to that, but he essentially said that there's regulations that we have to follow. And it's like, okay, well, the SEC didn't regulate you. Who did it? Well, there's a lot of rules, and you have to have certain financial holdings to be able to do these things. Okay, so you didn't have enough money. You have a liquidity problem. No, we don't have a liquidity problem. There's just rules. Well, okay, so you just said that the rules were that you didn't have enough money, but you don't have a liquidity problem. So you're just making it up. I mean, the interview sounded like there was a dude from Citadel on the other side of the camera holding up a whiteboard, pointing at bullet points with a gun in his other hand, telling the Robinhood CEO to say this. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's, and as we talked about a little bit before, the interview from the Robinhood CEO on no matter what channel, you could line them up. It's like pop music. You could line it up and it's all the same thing. He's just repeating the same thing over and over again. Yeah. Like, not similar sentences, literally the same thing. And it's just for them to all of this, we can say with conjecture, it sounds true with the words and it sounds messed up just describing it. But I'm looking at charts that prove it. There was direct manipulation whenever they did that. The only time we've seen a drop like it dropped yesterday, or I should say Thursday, it was whenever they locked us out, and then at 10:30 in the morning they just started trading shares back and forth to trick the algorithm into looking like there was a price drop. You could go to the level 2 analytics and see that there were no sales happening, and then all of a sudden all the guys who, like you referring to, Chew, that absolutely were like, I don't know what just happened, oh my god, I put in $4,000 and I only have $1,000 left, I have to sell right now, because they didn't know any better. The Wall Street screwed them even more so on there to buy back some of the shorts that they're down, because the penalties that they will incur that they've received in the past will be less than the billions they stood to lose if they didn't manipulate the market.
The short attacks, is that what that is? It was just a general question.
Yes.
Those are the short attacks?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know how they work? Because I knew that that's how they were going to be, and they're still going to do this, by the way. So this is something that people have to watch out for.
Yes, this is their last stand. And honestly, Thursday, they really thought that they had us Thursday. This was their big plan. All right, we're going to shut them out. We're going to simulate sales. So what that is, to my understanding, again, not a financial advisor, don't know what the hell I'm talking about. My understanding of it from reading WallStreetBets and looking at the level 2 data of the stock on Robinhood is they trade the big firms just trade the stock back and forth at the same price. No money is exchanged. There are no actual stocks being sold. The value of the stock, however, based on how the algorithm is set up, will go down if there are transactions happening that are not at a higher dollar value than they previously were. So they fired off 10,000 or 100,000 transactions where it was literally just trades or firms trading back and forth with one another. That then on our apps causes a huge red dildo to be going down the charts, and people who don't know to just hold and like what these attacks are. I was one of them, man. I literally, when that happened on Thursday, I got in the shower up $5,000. I took a shower and I got out and checked it, and I was down $2,800. I was like, what just happened? And so I went to WallStreetBets and read what was happening and held it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason why they're able to do that like so confidently is because the fact that the fiber cable, like they're basically so close and can move so fast thanks to the computers that they can buy them back up so quick that no one else, even though it creates the dip, no one else has the option to buy.
And we also literally couldn't. So not only do they have, not only do they already have an inherent advantage because of everything you just said, they were so scared of us, they literally handicapped us. They were like, our fiber connected, interwoven in the same room computers can't beat this army of nerds on Reddit. So they had to handcuff us. But then to go a step further to prove where this is, the chart I'm looking at right now, today, the charts, whenever, because now Gamestop, or excuse me, Robinhood opened back up these stocks.
Right.
GameStop, you were allowed to buy 5. I got a notification this morning that I would be allowed to buy 5 stocks. So I was waiting to buy the dip. And like just the market open was going to be crazy, buy the dip, and then get 5 more on Robinhood while I could. Because I have all my buying power tied up in there and I can't get it transferred fast enough. And so then whenever I went to do that, it said, no, you can't do that. You can only have a maximum of 5 shares. So then they limited, not only can you buy 5 new ones, you can only have 5 shares total, and I have more than that, so it wouldn't let me buy. Then whenever it peaked again at 363, Robinhood immediately instituted you can only buy 2 shares. And then you can watch on the chart right at noon when they did it, the volume dropped to almost half of the trades. It was at 100, it was at right at 1 million, 1.1 million trades at noon. And the 5 minutes later, what's that, a 10-minute chart? There, it's at 500,000. They literally cut it in half, and it starts tanking. Then we pick up the dip again. You can see it in the chart, and it starts going back down. They institute another one where the volume then drops again. It's like they literally are doing everything they can to handcuff us, and they did it 2 days in a row. This one was just more shady. This one, they're like, oh, we're protecting you. We don't want to have too many. We don't want you to make too much money. However that protects us, but there's 2 days worth of charts in a row that show how they blatantly like in the open waving the flag manipulated it on Thursday, and then how they did it a little more sneakily on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, they're risking jail time basically, like or potential jail time to try to get out of this, basically, because they're so fucked monetarily that they'd rather be up for a short amount of jail time if they even go there, because they can tie it up.
But here's the thing. Here's the fucking arrogance of these Wall Street guys, though.
Yeah.
I honestly think 2 things. One, they don't believe they're going to face jail time for shit. Because
I think you're right.
Their perception of reality is so fucked. And we're going to come to some of these fucking lunatics, and more importantly, the piece of shit media organizations that gave them voice boxes to basically circle jerk for 2 minutes of whatever they wanted. Like, they're the biggest fucking whores I've ever seen on television. And I've seen a lot of porn, right? So, but going back a little bit, like the arrogance of these fucks, I don't think they believe, honestly, even now, that they're fucked financially, right? Because new companies, new hedge funds, when it dropped to the 120, when everyone shit themselves on Thursday, created new fucking shorts.
Yep.
Did you see this?
Oh,
there is new shorts in the market.
Dude, that's why AMC. So I won't get too distracted, because the primary goal right now needs to be GameStop. Buy and hold GameStop whenever they try to dip us, right? But the shorts closed on AMC today, and they are shorted 100%. And the shorts were due at $9, and it closed at like $12.20 something today at end of market, and it's up to 13 after hours. So those shorts are due on Tuesday. AMC is about to go insane. These fucks are so confident and cocky about it. Just like you're saying, they literally were like, oh, they're focused on this one, let's go do the exact same thing to this other one. Like, and they don't
no, they did it on GameStop as well. Like, they have some companies have created new shorts on GameStop.
I'm buying more shares 100%. On Monday. I didn't even know that.
And that's the thing.
Oh my
that's the
God.
thing, is that
Why are you
they
kicking
honestly
the
think
Hornet Hive? What are you doing?
Because they're morons. Because they're morons in this sense. They honestly think, hey, there's no way that these morons in the world can keep up with this, because we have the money. We have Citadel. We have, Congress in our hands. Like, up until then, they think that they'll just fucking bail us out. We can bet the house. We can talk about money we don't have. Remember 2008? We're just going to get the taxpayers to bail us out again anyway when we completely fuck this system.
True.
And then we're going to blame all these 17-year-olds on Reddit who made bad words about us on TV or on the internet. It's like, fuck off.
Yep.
So I honestly don't think that's going to be the thing. Now, going back to that interview that you were talking about with the CEO, 2 things on this. Number one, I watched a lot of interviews on this topic, and I was ready to basically say, I'm never watching terrestrial television ever again. I was so disgusted with what I was seeing. Now, is it Chris Cuomo? Which one's he's
Chris
the
Cuomo,
reporter, right?
Yeah.
Chris Cuomo, I go back and forth on. Like, when he's sitting there, like, circle jerking his governor brother, on television, I'm like, oh, this guy's the worst, right? But after that interview with seeing how hard he pushed on that guy, today I'm definitely identifying as a Cuomo-sexual because that was fucking perfect, bro. Like he did not let him get away with anything. Every dumb PR statement that he made, he did what a journalist should do, and he fucking pushed back. And he said, no, because you're saying it's not a liquidity issue, but everything you just said sounds like a liquidity issue. And if it's not, it definitely looks corrupt as fuck. I'm not saying you are corrupt, bro, but you must understand it. To the world looking at you, it looks really, really bad. And you're a company called Robinhood, and yet it looks like you're stealing from the poor to give to the rich. It's not good, bro. I hope that it doesn't pan out for you. Like, he did such a good job with that.
Yeah, he did.
Let's talk about the opposite of that. Let's talk about fucking CNBC. Do you guys watch many of these billionaire fucking assholes get on?
Did you see the
and
fuck in the cow suit? The cow suit saying that we need to be sued? Oh my God, Michael. He literally was in a cow suit. I swear to God. You can go find it. It is a white and black spotted cow suit. And he's like, we need the SEC to investigate Reddit. Dude.
Oh my God, dude. This is ridiculous.
How do you go on TV and say that?
Yeah. The head of the NASDAQ had the balls to come out and say that Reddit people are guilty of collusion and need to see jail time. That we need to change the rules to make sure that something like this can never happen again to protect the market. You had this other fucking lunatic come out, billionaire, basically whinging and whining, saying this idea of a fair go and everyone deserves their fair share is bullshit. You know, we created this. And you're like, you can go fuck yourself. You know, and then watching the rhetoric over and over again where these entitled billionaire fucks are trying to create this negative that what all of these people are doing is illegal and wrong because it's costing them money. You're right. It's so incredible. But I now have more and more networks that I will never, ever watch again. And the problem is, right, the more they do this shit, the more that like this whole, you know, mainstream media fake news thing that was created under the Trump era where people just distrust any news that they see. I have to admit, after this week, it's pretty hard to deny half those networks. And I'm going to almost throw up as I say this. Trump was fucking right about half of them, right? Because the shit that they spouted this fucking week about how, you know, and listening to the way they talk about the Redditors, they're degenerates, they're, you know, gamblers. I mean, yeah, a lot of it's right, but just the hearing the language, and then it's just like, and here is this perfect angel that's never done anything wrong except make a couple of $1 billion, pulled himself up by his bootstraps. You know, he started off, his parents gave him only $100 million. Now he's a billionaire. What a go-getter. Go fuck yourself. Give your balls a tug. You know, it's,
yeah. Got you.
I love, dude. I couldn't agree with you more. It's the audacity of them to get on TV to say that we are the problem. But that's what I love.
No
about,
ability to self-reflect whatsoever.
Like how do you still have that arrogance and confidence to say that whenever you make Ben Shapiro, Donald Trump Jr., AOC, and Ted Cruz agree on something? How do you have the balls to do something whenever we haven't had Senate hearings on healthcare, $2,000 stimulus checks, and impeachment that's been proven true again, and we can get a Senate hearing going in 12 hours over this? Because how do you not realize that it is your time? It's like It's Always Sunny. Your time's up. Your time's up. Like you're done. Like you don't. It just pisses me off, and I have to like not yell and rant about it because and that's honestly where the fight comes from for me is seeing these people go on there and just spout their dumb mouths about how we're the problem, and then you see other billionaires who have made it from actually smart investing, never shorting stocks, having great products, or bringing something useful to the world, like Mark Cuban and Elon and Kevin O'Leary and all these people who are 100% on Team WSB, on Team WallStreetBets. Like, how do they still go against it? And it's truly they can't fathom what being or what not having unimaginable wealth is like. They can't fathom that. We can't fathom what it's like to have their money. Exactly. So they think that it's going to happen again, but I genuinely believe that this time, even if like the worst case scenario of what could happen is they convince the Fed to come in, lock it out, buy everybody out, and give you $500 a share, and that's the tops. And that's the only thing they have left. Like, they're going to go in front of the Senate. It's going to happen. There's already class action lawsuits. So how, with all of those facts, can you still get on TV in a cow suit and tell me that my Reddit thread talking about jokes and throwing memes up is collusion. Whenever we have market data based on your algorithms, analytics, and things that you've based it on, and can prove where you broke the law, but we're the problem. I just, the audacity is mind-boggling to me, and I am ready to buy any more chances I can.
And you mentioned this already, right? Right. If it's collusion for these Reddit guys to do this, right? Let's go devil's advocate again. How is what you guys were talking about before, this manipulation of making it appear like stocks are being rapidly sold at crazy rates, even though it's all a ghost trade on these fiber connections between two organizations on the same floor? How is that not collusion? Right? The difference between
that's exactly
Wall
the problem.
Street and hedge bet collusion and the guys on Reddit is the guys on Reddit are doing it for the world to see, right?
And we're
I don't
doing
think it
better.
actually is collusion.
We beat you at your own game.
100%.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
100%.
It's your rules. We played your game. We beat your
Exactly.
game. Like,
I'm not going to say we because I haven't done shit, but sure. You go for it.
For legal purposes, I have not participated.
just so you know, I
would love to be the
I
hero
do
of this
not have
story.
diamond hands.
I'm just a moron. I don't. I have the softest hands ever. They're so soft. I've never done a
They're
hard day's
supple.
work in my life. That's South.
There's your OnlyFans voice.
Well, yeah, I think that this
For
is
sure.
this is the most amazing bottom up revolution I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
I'm honestly, like, at the very least, even if I lose my money on this, like, hey, I don't have that much in it anyways, unfortunately, because of the block. I only got my one share in, but
Every share counts.
yep, there you go.
Yeah.
Diamond
Because
hands,
how many
diamond
times do I say in this podcast that I am so proud to be and love nerds? How often do I say that on this podcast?
all the fucking
Like
time.
weekly?
all the goddamn time.
Right. This week, though, honestly, there was like single tear rolling down my right cheek of just fucking pride. That, like,
I think it's
I'm
dad
sure that
proud.
there's great people. I'm 100% it is, because we're seeing the next generation of nerds just fucking take technology and sticking it fair up the arse of people that we've wanted to this whole time. Like, there might only be 10 years age gap between me and you guys, but fuck me, does it make my heart sing to see you guys going, well, I don't like this system, I'm going to break it. And we didn't figure that out. Like, guys in my age bracket, we didn't figure that out. The fact that you guys are, I don't know why people keep shitting on millennials in your age group, man, because you guys are starting to figure shit out. You guys are trying to save the world in different ways. Man, it's been thrilling to watch this week.
Wait, I have to ask one question.
Yeah.
Real quick. Just
Yeah.
real quick. Are you now more pro Elon after this?
Oh, yeah, I am. So I've never really
Okay, good.
had
You're
like
on the Elon
a
train.
one way or the other. Like, I love his technology. I love the idea of his rhetoric. But then you hear about like some of the ways that like Tesla staff are treated and things like that. And you're like, fuck, what do you believe? But like seeing him when the battle cry went out, we need help. Elon Musk used his dick for this, right? He didn't use it to try and go, what if I put money in here and I could profit on this too? It was about, all right, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And then watching him be really clever, because bear in mind, this is a guy that's been in trouble with the SEC inside the last like 2 calendar years, right? Because of a fucking tweet. And yet here he is on Twitter fucking with markets anyway. So yeah, I've got a lot of respect for that kind of, I got respect for those kind of balls, man. So yeah, definitely a fan of that.
Another thing I wanted to say, Chew, is like, although our generation is the one acting on it, it's your generation. I didn't even know that we had that age gap, but y'all built the tools for us. Y'all showed us the path. And so not just it I think it truly is, although we're the ones like acting it out, that's not because they're people like you saw it, people like we've talked to people like you, and we've been able to have that reinforced in our lives that this is bullshit, right? Yeah, this is bullshit. You agree? Okay, well, I have the tools now. I'm going to do this. So I think it's I truly think that it is more than just millennials. I think that it's open-minded people of any age that are truly helping this revolution come about.
I think, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
there's still a lot of
group.
things that you millennials do that really pisses me off on a daily basis. You're irritating bunch
Hey, me
sometimes.
too.
Don't get me wrong. But
Hey, man.
I will say that I don't
think
think you've been given a... Yeah, and that's that. See, it's conversations like that where boomers say shit to you like, oh, just don't eat the avocado on toast. You can save up to a house just like I did. when, interest was much lower and you could have a part-time job and still own a 4-bedroom house. Fuck off, mate. It's a whole different world now. You guys gamed the system, built the system, and now you're rigging the system to keep the money with you and then blaming the next generation for not being go-getting enough. I think that whole narrative has been fucked. And no wonder you guys have the rage and piss and vinegar to go out and want to do shit like this. And yeah, I'm in love with the whole thing, man. Like I love the idea of controlled anarchy. Like when anarchy is directed at the right things, unbelievably cool. Like
It's
not
the best.
like, the shit we saw in the Capitol recently. That's not the kind of anarchy I'm voting for here.
This is the type of fucking revolution we need, not people who think that on March 4th. I won't get into that. Never mind.
Well, now you just reminded me. Here's the thing I'm really disappointed for. Where the fuck are the Korg memes? Where are the revolution has begun, memes everywhere? They should be everywhere on Reddit right now,
Oh man,
but they're not.
yes, that's good.
Fix
The
it,
fuck?
dude.
What the
From the
fuck is
alternate-
going on?
From the alternate account,
Yeah.
go to WallStreetBets and
There you go.
drop that shit.
Hebrew
Start
as
dropping it down.
resident meme lord, get on it.
Yeah, okay, I'll hop right on that.
I'm about to say, if he's the resident meme lord, I want to see these memes.
Fuck. Okay.
I am not the resident meme lord. I feel
show
like
that
you have
boy.
more of a right to it because you're from Australia, right next to New Zealand. So I feel like you need to own that shit.
I'll get a face
This is
swapping
on you.
technology and I'll point out. I'll put out a video today. Done.
Okay. Oh man,
yeah,
you need
it's,
to. Oh my god, that. Yeah. Okay.
What's
The
that?
Korg. You need to make a Korg avatar in that system. By the way,
I'll figure it out.
Sorry, just popped
I'll
in my
figure it
head.
out.
Yeah, you have to do it.
Yeah, no one has any idea what you're talking about for the sake of this podcast, but sure.
I know.
Sure.
That's why I just quickly had to get it off my shoulders.
All
Did
good.
you hear the excitement in his voice? He was like,
You would be
stoked to tell
you would
I
be
know.
excited too. Trust me, you'd be excited too.
There was
All
coming
right, go
pants.
ahead.
So look, we saw Robinhood directly intervene with the market. We've seen mainstream media absolutely circle jerking. Like we know which places are now funded, but what was highlighted to me as well is I did not realize through 2007, 2008 how much of the damage was potentially done by media until I saw what happened this week in regards to like the financial markets. On CNBC, I don't know if you guys saw this yesterday, at around the same time that we started to see the GameStop stock start to rally back after they basically really fucked with the Robinhood thing. Did you guys see what was on CNBC as like almost like a banner ad? It was advertising
they covered
that
all their shorts?
Melvin, yes,
Yep.
that they had basically called in, they cashed out, there wasn't anything to do now. While
so here's the next step of that.
a lot of hedge
Sorry, go ahead,
funds
go ahead,
were
go ahead.
doing new shorts. Go for it, bro.
So to take that, I'm so happy. They are currently running ads. CNBC is saying that Melvin's short. This whole weekend, they've put a whole marketing campaign together talking about how Melvin got out and there's no more short. That's literally not possible. And also, if you did, why would you be spending money that you just, after losing $13 billion or $7 billion, why would you be spending money on a marketing campaign to tell people that you're out? You just be out and go lick your wounds. No. You're trying to manipulate the narrative to whatever you need to try to negate what losses you can.
Oh yeah, they think that
Yeah,
we're
it's
retarded.
like Obi-Wan taking out a banner ad on the side of that speeder saying, these definitely are not the droids you're looking for, right? It's how fucking dumb this is.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, no.
Unbelievable.
They think that there's no end to our stupidity. Like they think that this is just going to be like all right, they'll drop it in a second as soon as we say we're out. We're not that fucking dumb.
Yeah, and it's like we're literally predicating all this off of your models. These are your projections. These are your models. These are your algorithms, and we are just working within them. How are you going to tell us that you did something that's literally impossible within your own algorithm? So either A, it's not true, or B, you've cheated in some way and you just openly admitted to fraud. So which one is it?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing that's pissing people off the most now, even more. Like that poured so much kerosene on the fire because the hypocrisy of them saying that is so fucking unbelievable.
Yep.
That it literally made me want to invest more money just to see what could fucking happen out of this. Like, I want the bonfire to be as big as possible now, just so there's enough noise that something happens to these people.
I saw multiple accounts on WallStreetBets saying that after that was done, after the Robinhood thing was done, and they kicked us debt while we were down and tried to manipulate the market into a fire sale, they pissed them off so much that they've gone from their peanuts account, as they called it, with like $5,000 to $15,000 on Robinhood, to their TD Ameritrade and E-Trade accounts, their real accounts with millions of dollars of open buying power and selling options to buy into GameStop.
Yeah.
Like, you just pissed off whales in this community that were just playing along. Like, now we're all the way in. Like, how did they not? I mean, do they not know what Streisand effect is? Do they not understand that they're just going to piss off and bring even more attention to it? And the answer goes back to what you've been talking about this whole time. Their arrogance is just that unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not just that, the resentment worldwide too. I don't think I realized how much like rage there still was worldwide after the financial crisis, which a lot of people do attribute to the US stock market, like having that wave effect across the world. Because like the day that you saw that short, like there was like one of the richest guys in China said, guys, I'm going to buy $1 million at opening tomorrow. Don't worry. There's 4 billion people here that have exactly the same feeling about Wall Street as you do. I'm in. You know, it's incredible to see that happen as well.
Yeah.
Like the international
Such a
response on the day when you guys got locked out by Robinhood, fucking amazing.
It's the only reason that we're still
Exactly.
in this fight. They were able to catch it when it was in full plummet mode, to where they were able to negate the algorithm to just stop. And then I believe they even got it to a hold. And then once they got it to a hold, that's whenever people went to a TD Ameritrade here in America to get back. But I saw and they also were attacking the Reddit forum at that point. So when that was happening, whenever you went to Reddit, it wouldn't update. Obviously just because of user load, but then they sourced it back to more bots spamming and the Discord also.
Now,
So,
there's another good point too, is that the Discord got shut down. Like Discord actually actively shut down. So, and it was at the key moment as well, is my understanding, that it was when they'd basically gone, you know what? We have some foxes in the henhouse on the Reddit. There's definitely some people in here watching this now. We can't announce our moves just yet until the core organizers have that unifying message, right? So they went to Discord, their private channels, and then all of a sudden shut down. And they said it was because of like hate speech. And now, what were you talking about off air before, Leland, about bots? You said there was bot spamming?
Yeah, so from my understanding, they quickly got up Wall Street on Reddit. I'm not Discord. I very, very rarely use Discord. And so on Reddit, they very quickly got up WallStreetBets WallStreetBets 2. And they were talking about it in there of what happened. And apparently there was a big user spike. And all of a sudden it was just like flooded to where I think it automatically triggered from Reddit to be, because it wasn't deleted or taken down, it was set to private due to spam or due to like for a review, and it was up again like an hour later. And the big top post that I saw was from a moderator saying that a bunch of bots had joined and had spammed it out, and they got flagged for hate speech and something else. And so it was just an automatic, like almost like DOS attack style flooding to get it to shut down. And it's whenever that was on Wednesday night, whenever they tanked the price post or in after hours.
Yeah, I think that was created. I mean, like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure if you know this part or not, but that was whenever they started to create the influx of bots to put in a whole bunch of shit posts, basically.
Correct.
To make the forum, like that particular subreddit, look like a piece of shit, basically, right?
Yeah, and it was like, to my understanding, it was just like I also don't Reddit very much. I'm only on like certain little subreddits that pertain to like my flying or music.
Right.
I don't have much knowledge of like deep of like popular Reddits and how that works. But so y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but there's certain standards on Reddit to where they'll either private or essentially hide your Reddit until they can review and see what's happening.
I think if I'm understanding what happened correctly, I believe that they privated it themselves. The mods did, because they realized what was happening. Yep. Because they realized what was happening, and they didn't want people to go to it and get the false view of what what
WallStreetBets was. Because it was
right, exactly, because people were trying to portray it as one reason, and it wasn't. So
that honestly lines up with how I was interpreting what I was reading, And because I didn't understand Reddit rules, that's kind of where my brain went, that Reddit did that. But that would make a bunch of sense because they said that they just were cleaning up everything to make sure that it was perceived the correct way. So everything that you said lines up with that being true.
It was basically being attacked in all angles, in all ways possible to try to fuck over communication and
while they were destroying the market post or in after hours. You know, whenever we can't do anything because we're on an app and they have fiber, like they actually do have extended trading hours, and we're just putting in post-market buys to post the next morning.
Right, and they didn't want people like also getting on getting ideas for, you know, other systems to get on that didn't have limiters and stuff like that, because that's been a big thing too now. Like everyone is telling anyone, you know, go to Webull and E-Trade are the two big ones that they're telling them, because it's like or Fidelity, because it's like
I
instant
saw a
account
bit of
access,
blowback on
instant
Fidelity
money transfers.
yesterday that they might have been doing some fuckery as well. I don't know how true that is, so it's an allegedly from me, but I did see a few posts
I've only
yesterday
heard
where people
E-Trade
were saying
and Webull.
Correct.
Yeah, I only heard E-Trade and Webull, but yeah, either way. By the way, I should mention this. Hopefully, we get sponsored by Webull.
Hopefully, we get sponsored by literally anyone.
Yeah. Like they are doing if you sign up for Webull right now, apparently they're doing like 4 free stocks. So like if you are interested in not even just like getting involved in this, but like investing at all after this, like Webull is a good place to go. I think it's 4 now, as of at least earlier today. I think it was 4.
Okay, I definitely could be wrong.
It makes sense that they might try to increase it just recently, given the situation, to bring more people over. So yeah,
very fair.
So then, of course, we saw, as Leland hinted at before, an unbelievable response. I guess a lot of us after 07, 08, we kind of expected Congress to be very cautious in what they commented on, because they didn't want to piss off the people that give them money to run for office and then call in favors later on. I guess we kind of expected that, at least I did. So when I saw just a lot of them from all walks of political life come out and go, you know what, this is fucked. How do you accuse these guys of doing the wrong thing, manipulate the market? We're going to get Senate hearings right now. We're going to look at what the fuck you're doing on all sides. I am a little bit worried that I think some of the guys on Reddit are going to get charged with something. I don't think they should, but I'm sure that's the way this is going to pan out. But the question is, are they actually going to do something about Wall Street?
I'll let you go first, Mike.
Man, I just don't know if they have, or I mean, who knows? Whenever you have that many powerful people aiming guns at you because someone needs to take a fall and they don't want it to be them, who knows what can happen? But I feel like, just superficially at least, they just could not do anything to like Reddit people for what they did. Like they couldn't force anyone to do anything. They weren't lying about anything. There was facts and figures, and all they did was show them. That was literally it. So I don't know if there's enough proof to be able to do anything like that. But as far as I mean, like everyone coming out of the woodwork, like the politicians and everything, yeah, I mean, I was pretty surprised. I as you mentioned earlier, Leland, I couldn't believe a Senate hearing got called so fucking fast. I never would have thought that was happened, but I'm so glad. But yeah, it's interesting.
To me, it's just, it was because it's so blatant that there was no way that they could hide from it. And now knowing this was a way that they could have a united front, because with it being as strong as it was of obvious, like I said, flag waving manipulation, this is actually a chance to do something to where they don't have to lean on those super PACs anymore. And obviously it being led by AOC is something, but this pisses off both conservative-minded people and liberal people, because for liberal people it's a matter of more like rights and just like, taking, the eat the rich type
general
situation.
Morality.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the conservatives, they're like, no, these are people that should be allowed to make as much money as they want. So it's only a very small percentage of people that are with the billionaires, and it's really all just that 1%. And the senators and even some of the other billionaires or multimillionaires that are speaking out against it have a stance for it. So I personally do think something will happen in Congress, because there's too much momentum and attention, and we're not just going to let up. Like, if they took hundreds of millions to billions of dollars away from the people that we rightfully earned based on their rules, there are too many angry, pissed off nerds that have nothing but time. It keeps coming back to that, but it's what it is, and I'm one of them that will fight for this and stand up. Like I'm going to join every class action lawsuit I can that I will fit what it's the lawsuit's about. I will write to every senator I can. I'll file a complaint against the SEC or with the SEC against Robinhood and against anybody that I need to. So I do think something will happen because what they did was so fundamentally wrong. Conservatives can't defend it and liberals can't defend it. So this is actually a moment where they can even if it's in a faux moment of unity, they can actually show that they did something, which will only then help to serve their own individual base. And they can spin it on how they stood up for you when it comes around to next elections on both sides of the aisle. So I actually do think something will come of it. And one last thing is the direct quote from the incoming chair of the Senate Banking Committee is, people on Wall Street only care about the rules when they're the ones getting hurt. American workers have known for years the Wall Street system is broken, and they've been the one paying the price. It's time for the SEC and Congress to make the economy work for everyone, not just Wall Street. That's why, as incoming chair of the Senate and Banking Housing Committee, I plan to hold a hearing that will do important work. So there's too much on this. They have this is the moment that they can be on the right side of history, and I do think something will happen.
Well, let me give you a good thing, bad thing politics over there at the moment. Good thing is Elizabeth Warren, in an effort to talk about one of the things that you guys were discussing earlier with that like hyper rapid trade between each other, where technically they're not buying or selling anything, but their stock's moving. They're proposing that any trades like that attract a 0.1% tax. So when they fuck around like that, because they're operating on such low margins, not Martians, they don't got nothing to do with this. Martians. I don't think. Alex Jones will probably say it's fucking Martian.
Hey, come on, now hold on. Why do they got to be the little Martians? Why can't they be the big Martians?
Yeah. They've been running this since 2007. Anyway, I know why that sounded more like Bernie Sanders and Alex Jones, but forgive me on that one. So I think that's a great idea. But here's one of the concerns. Am I wrong? Isn't like the new like Treasury Secretary, like didn't she take $800,000 from Citadel over the last few years?
I actually didn't know that.
I didn't know that if she did or not.
I'm looking it up.
Yellen is her last name. Janet Yellen got $810,000 to give speeches to Citadel. That's over three different things. I'll link you guys the article while I continue to bullshit on this call.
I'm seeing it.
It's
now.
Incredibly concerning to me that this is a thing, because you always know that like Wall Street buys and sells political influence and has done for decades, right? They've financed a lot of these people into power. It is people like this in every country right now that voting people, especially voting young people, should be watching, not what they say over the next year, but what they do. Like you are going to see in the next 12 months, like Corona's kind of thrown this out, blowback over a lot of this sort of rise of right-wing extremism and left-wing extremism, if I'm being honest, in a lot of Western societies right now, creating this big, divisive things. We are seeing a lot of people now paying more attention to politics, right? And especially you young ones trying to fix the right issues now, I think, is that you have to watch what these assholes do. And this is the person I'm going to be watching the most, because you know what this person didn't do yesterday? Recuse themselves from this conversation. That is 100% what she should do right now, is say, look, I don't think I should be a part of this. Let me nominate a completely independent people to oversee this, because I have a gigantic conflict of interest, right? The fact that she didn't do that, already I fucking hate the vibe of that.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, this is an issue. I'm hoping that the spotlight is so fucking bright right now on this that if she did make a move that was very questionable, that it would be under a fucking magnifying glass. So I would hope that would be rendered basically like inert. But we'll definitely have to keep a close eye on what happens with that. But yeah, I did also want to mention, I loved that AOC herself stressed the fact yesterday on her Twitch stream about this, which, by the way, fucking good job for her for even doing that. Yep. She brought on a specialist, and she went through it with Twitch watchers, basically. So good for her. Mm-hmm. But she also stressed that people, like elected officials, basically should not have money in the stock markets because it creates an innate conflict of interest. and I was proud of her for saying that too. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I didn't know that this was a thing, and hopefully more people do know, and they aren't ignorant assholes like me.
Yeah, so. I definitely am interested in what somebody smarter than me will think on this.
Exactly, yeah.
But from what I'm seeing here and like just looking up more of her history, she does seem to have a history of voting against banks and against people that had given her money in the past.
But she wasn't against taking several $100,000 for giving like a 90-minute speech. I mean, when are we going to start looking at what these things really are? Like, I would say that in my best day, right, at the most famous, charismatic, whatever it is that I would be in an alternate universe, right? There is no way that anything I can say in 90 minutes is worth $200,000. Maybe, I don't know, $180, right? It's fucking ridiculous, right? I've seen this woman speak. Charisma is not something that she has, right? Because I looked into it. It's like, what about this woman was worth $810,000 worth of speaking money? Was it market insights? Was it charisma? Was it joy? Was it a plan? What did I take away for that kind of money? Nothing. What did I buy? Political influence, right? The same thing like the Clintons. Like, I'm sounding more right-wing than I normally am today. But, I mean, like, they've all been... This kind of shit's been operating by a while, where Wall Street and hedge funds, they give these people, oh, we're so impressed that you're going to speak for us. We're going to pay you $250,000 for showing up for a half hour, taking a couple of selfies with a couple of douchebags who can go out and use it to go, hey, I met the president that got a blowjob once. Look at this photo at the bar that night. No, go fuck yourself. Right? This is the kind of stuff that we, you know, I really hope that this is going to shame those kind of practices out. To say things like, to back up, like you say, not just to what you say, but what you do. Did this woman vote against all these banking things? If she did, that's fantastic, because her actions are saying that she's doing something. But she still took that money knowing what it was, right? And that's the thing, is that if they take this money, they need to be able to turn it down. And that's why they need to reverse so much of this McConnell introduced bullshit of money in politics. It needs to go out of Australia too, while I'm on a tear. Because money in politics, this buying of influence and looking after your bros and fucking the people that actually fund the country, like with tax, because these pricks aren't paying shit. This kind of stuff needs to be all part of the same conversation. We need to look at media responsibility, because if they say that there is collusion in this whole thing between hedge companies, CNBC honestly needs to be on that fucking investigation. Because to run those ads, to actively have your journalists...
It is a direct hand.
Of course. And it's not even conspiracy theory to say this anymore. If you said this 15 years ago, people would call you a crackpot, but you can see it now in front of you blatantly. It's unbelievable, man. And I honestly hope that a lot of things happen. Accountability in journalism, accountability in financial trading with no bailouts from government, even if it means the death of this system and financial hardships for, you know, a couple of billionaires that have to live on, only $1 billion a year now? Fuck, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I hope that this is the catalyst that does it. Who knows if it actually is, but I think that this has probably got the best shot that we've seen in an incredibly long time of doing so. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens if nothing comes to fruition from this, because I feel like there's going to be, like, the whole world's watching right now, and there's going to be a lot of really pissed off people, and a lot of really pissed off people with really big wallets too, I feel like. So
see, that's the thing, is like, I don't like Elon and Mark and I can't pronounce, I don't even know how to begin to say his name. It's a Facebook CEO that was on CNBC defending Wall-StreetBets, like Charut or
Winklevoss.
No, it wasn't them. It was he was I think he was a former Facebook CEO or executive of some kind, and he was one of the ones on Wednesday and Thursday that were supporting everything. And I can see if I can find his name. But my main point is all these very powerful, influential people who have been calling this out that aren't in politics and aren't bought out and aren't easily swayed because they have all the money in the world too. I think that their voices and their push, if they really will stand behind this and really will find a way to fight with us with their power, I think something actually will have to get done, because if we all don't stop talking about it, it won't just go away. They're going to have to do something. And SpaceX right now is getting screwed over randomly. Like hours before they were supposed to launch SNS9, they got a hold order, and the FAA is making them file a bunch of paperwork. And like, don't get me wrong, I have my pilot's license. I understand like the bureaucracy that goes in and the paperwork that goes into things and clearing airspace. But it was the same launch order as SNS8. It was everything that was already approved, and then they just randomly pulled it after Elon was involved in something. Like, he's not going to put up with that, and so and neither will Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is like, he loves throwing his money around.
He's a fucking bulldog.
He loves it, and he loves fighting for people. I mean, look at his entrepreneurial spirit, and you can see that it's true. He'll throw around money like it's nothing if it really helps people. Exactly. Because he has forever money. But it's,
he has true fuck you money.
Truly.
Both of them do.
Dude, I mean, there was a point on Shark Tank where he literally bought in to spite Kevin and gave somebody their asking price for $50,000. I did the math on my own net worth, and it would be like me literally giving somebody $3.24. I remember the math. It was ridiculous. But it's,
I mean, and Elon's got most money in the world now to swing.
Exactly.
So.
And why wouldn't? And I mean, there's just so many unbelievably powerful and influential and rich people that I don't think will just let this die, even with the level of corruption that it appears that we have. Not appears, that is going on.
I agree, but I've been surprised before. That's what I kind of have to leave it off as for me. Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, we know nothing. This could all end up blowing up in our face and we could lose everything. But if that happens, that's where the fight begins. Like, the money was the casualty, but the war is fully on at that point, and all the evidence is there. And it will truly be a matter of, will the right thing be done, or will literally the entire world be able to see that it's a sham?
Yeah.
And anyone joining in investing right now, if you're listening to this and this is the first time you're really hearing about this and you're excited about, like, fuck the system, please, like, what Leland said there is very accurate. Come into this assuming that your worst case scenario is you're going to lose everything. But not just worst case scenario, but it's likely now, right? Because something's going to happen. Yep. Mm-hmm. But if you still want to be part of the cause, by all means, go for it. I mean, what do I know? I'm an idiot.
This is a casino.
Just an extension of that, also, just a in general, whenever you're betting on stocks, go into it assuming you will lose them, period. That way you will never be disappointed. Same thing as gambling.
You can't time the market. You can't find the right time. You have to invest in things that you believe in, that somebody that is a fiduciary financial advisor can actually advise you on and show you charts and the reasons why this long-term, low-risk investment will make you money if you just trust the system and allow the algorithms to work. Those are the types of things. Like, what I'm saying is, like, that's what normal investing is. And those are the promises, and you still have to be ready to accept that you no longer have that money, right?
Yeah,
and
we're in some weird times right now.
Yeah,
there's
this whole
Tesla,
crypto, Tesla doing what it did, all these stocks, AMC, BB Knock, GameStop, everything, like everybody going, all these crazy shorts and everybody buying the shorts. Like, this is not how investing works. It's why I've never been a part of investing in things, is because I understood that I didn't have enough real money to play in it, and that I didn't understand the algorithms, and I'm not a mathematician. I'm in this because it's a gamble, it's a bet, and it's something where I feel like I'm making a stand for something I believe in. I'm not doing this because I think I'm some sort of, like, genius fucking investor. I have no idea. I learned what shorts were on Tuesday.
I'm an expert.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're also, like, only putting in, like, basically, like, fun money, which is, like, how it
I'm
should
putting
be.
in
Like,
what
never
I can afford
put
to
money.
lose. I actually took my money out of crypto and I invested it into this, is what happened.
Exactly. Same. I don't know if you have more to go on, Chu, but if you didn't, I was going to ask.
Talk about this. I could talk about this for hours, bro. I mean, Winklevoss as the name just came up a little while ago. So they're the guys that were the co-founders of Facebook, but they got zucked in the ass. Yeah. So they were in the news yesterday on this as well. So I didn't realize that they were creating their own platform very similar to Robinhood. But they came out swinging, saying when this launches, 100% we will never do this, right? So we're already starting to see people capitalizing on the Robinhood fuckery, which means that this fear of that power being taken away because Robinhood is unfortunately it appears to be allegedly part of the system.
Right.
It's good to see that we've got so many people potentially funding other investors getting in. And you kind of see like, Cuban and Elon, like they're signaling there as well. They're up to something. But the one thing I didn't really factor in, I didn't really understand a little bit to this morning, you started to see this massive rush on Bitcoin. Like you saw all these big guys that were anti-system started really like, Bitcoin just started appearing in their bios on Twitter, things like that, like Elon and a couple other guys. You guys notice this?
Oh yeah, it went from like 30,000 to 38 something, like almost the highest it's ever been. Again, from like 2:30 a.m. to 4 a.m. our time.
So I didn't realize the strategy of this until this morning. I didn't realize the idea is that if you piss off enough people and you get a lot of people shift their quote unquote real US money into Bitcoin, you could potentially like really freak the treasury out to like come and act to try and encourage people to take it back out and invest back in American currency. It's a hilarious idea.
I mean, that's their worst nightmare is crypto coming to true fruition. Like, that's definitely the thing that freaks them out at night for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
surprise
both the U.S. Treasury and the EU have both implemented things to where it's part of the Federal Reserve now. Like they are,
Has it?
Yeah.
It like crypto is embedded in like into Federal Reserve. Yeah, like it's coming. Like there is a U.S. dollar cryptocurrency that you can trade on Coinbase. Like it's they understand that this is no longer a question of if they can integrate it or if they're going to. It's how they're going to do it, or the dollar will plummet and it will all the world currencies will plummet and it will all become crypto.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, but it's so volatile. Why would they do? But then again, look at what the fuck is happening right now. So that doesn't mean shit anymore.
Because it's at a certain point, if we all value it to where it has more worth, it's literally no different. They actually, not only is it no different than the bullshit dollar not on the gold system and the general world economy not on an actual gold system. It's just paper that we put value to. Crypto is just a number we put value to. But the thing that Bitcoin has over currency is that at a certain point, it will stop being. The blockchain will complete, and I think it's like 2132 or something like that is when it is, and so it actually will regulate the price. It can't be manipulated essentially because, and I understand very little, but it's like there is a finite number, and so you can't just turn the mills back on like the Fed's gonna have to do when Gamestop goes to Pluto.
What I was gonna ask, what is the number like? So because you're invested in GameStop right now, what's your plan for it? Like, when are you gonna buy out, sell rather, and then
69,420.
Boom.
No, I have
the correct answer.
Are you gonna watch it go? Are you gonna watch it go to fucking nothingness? Are you gonna watch it?
No, I truly, I'm not gonna let it go to the ground. I want my bag, dude. I want to change my life. That's a really good question. I'm going to be trying to stay on it as much as possible. But what I know is that at this point, if I believed this long because of the math of what's in front, or in the charts that are in front and just what's there, there's no reason for me to stop before the short is claimed, or the short is bought back. So I'm going to let it.
Won't stop.
Pretty much. But if I see something like what you was talking about where somebody just bails, like, a DFV like goes to WallStreetBets and says out or something, and like you have seconds to take the big bag, if I see something like that, I'm out. If I see it drop, if it's in the squeeze and it's like going to hell or going to the moon and it's going just bonkers and it's been 5-10 minutes of thousands and thousands of dollars skyrocketing up, I'm going to let it go. And then as soon as I see a crescent, as soon as I see it starting to level out, I'm out. Fuck it. I'll take my bag and I'll go.
That's exactly. Sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
No, it's just, and the reason I feel confident doing that is I'm at that point 12.75 shares times whatever else I can pick up and all these other things. And, it won't affect the line enough. And I know that's a selfish way to think about it, because if enough people think that way, it will. But these people who've just made $100 million in 4 minutes can go buy my fucking shares again if they want.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, which I think is my mentality as well. Like, we certainly aren't going to be the first to crumble. Like, there's going to have to be like a fairly sizable crumble before I go. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, like,
that's completely agree.
Yeah. I'll ride the wave for a good while, but once I see it to a point where it's like it's unreasonable to think that it's going to go back up, then I'm selling out. I'm okay losing like a couple of hundred if I need to or whatever, depending on relative to where it is at the time whenever that starts happening. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. But I'm in it for, certainly sending a message. I'm not going to have like super paper hands. I'm going to have cardboard hands. That's my.
So you're not even getting into like a hard gemstone kind of hands. Like,
not quite.
You're like,
relative to the amount of money I have in there,
like opal hands or like ruby.
I mean, I don't even know if I
hands.
can say diamond hands when I have one stock, dude. I mean, I'm a fucking
Touché.
like.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm a drop of water in the ocean.
I'm gonna undo some of the goodwill that we've got from like anyone that listened to this that's actually part of WSB. I'm gonna say that a lot of people that are on that Reddit right now throwing up diamond hands. I think diamond hands is the new 8 inches on Reddit forums, right? There's no way that many people are actually diamond hands. Everyone in that thing has a number. Everyone has had that conversation in the back of their mind. And it's not wrong because like there's life-changing money here for some people. But I mean, there's definitely a lot of people going, I've definitely got you boys. And that's the one thing I guess that these hedge guys are counting on is that, in these companies, they will say, you do not sell unless these circumstances are met. The fact that it's gone this far, I will say I'm unbelievably impressed with because they really have stuck together, especially after that dip. Yeah. I was one of the ones, I've never watched a stock like on and off on my phone ever.
Watching
that day, every second that my brain was like, all right, I've got 2 seconds. My phone was out. I was on the stocks, dollar GME. Boom. And I was enthralled watching this because I was like, can these guys hold together who they don't know each other in the real world? Again, one of the things I love about nerds, right? You can have best friends on the internet that you've never even met in your life, right?
Yeah.
And watching them do this globally is fucking astonishing. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, they restore parts of my faith in humanity that I thought had died last year. Right? We're just watching people just like, oh, fuck your mask. I'm going to lick your face. Like those people were like, I think I'm done with people. But watching these people who are going, I trust you enough. Yep, we all know that there's money on the line here, but look, let's hold as long as we can. The fact it's gone this much, even if like they bail out at like, $500 or something, it should not be undersold what this community achieved. And I'm not saying that like, there's going to be some people in here that are doctors that save lives. There's going to be some people in that group that are just dead set pedos and everything in between, right? Because that is the internet, right? But the fact that this wide spectrum of good, bad, and in between people are doing this is just incredible to me, man. Yeah. I'm so impressed.
I will say, like, so it just as you said, like people are more entertained by the stock market now than ever because of what's going on. Literally, it's a line going up and down, turning red and green. Yep. But it's so interesting right now because of what is happening and the message behind it. But I guarantee, like, if anyone wants like to watch something more interesting than fucking Grey's Anatomy on Netflix, this is what you got to do on Monday and Tuesday. You got to fucking watch this shit because there will be a moment where the world basically takes a collective breath and the most important trust fall in history will happen. Literally. And we're going to see if people will catch it.
It's literally going to be the largest financial trust fall of all time where we all have to diamond hands. So I was trying to find the exact numbers. I can't find the post because WallStreetBets is a fucking maniac zoo right now on Friday night. But it's there was actually, so they were showing the number of daily transactions of GameStop. And as there was like huge, ridiculous numbers, obviously throughout the previous trading week and then early in this week, as the price was spiking. But as they attacked us more, the number of actual transactions and sales on the sales column went down an unbelievable amount. I think today it had been averaging around like 200,000 or like 200 million, I believe. A ton of transactions, and then on today I think it was 45 million. So it's proof that people aren't just throwing up diamond hands for now. It actually is happening. However, I completely agree that everybody has a number. I have
Everyone
a number.
has the number, yeah.
But I do believe that the only way that it can, I don't believe that it will mess up because people don't diamond hand long enough for the squeeze to actually happen. I think that I can't believe I'm using that as a term, as like a thing, but I don't think that I do believe with all of my heart and the money I have invested that we will see the squeeze through. We are going to see an astronomical number come about, but it's a matter of how long does it last, and is it like a quick mountain peak where, like, you know, DFV gets to 150 million and he's like, I'm out, and then you just watch this like, woohoo, and we all just fall off a cliff, you know? Like,
well, do you know what a moment I just equate this to, and like that we've all seen before, is Batman Dark Knight, whenever the ship was about to blow, and like everyone was like waiting for each other to press the button, and no one pressed the button. That's what I feel like.
I've seen that meme on WallStreetBets as well. There's been a lot of Batman memes over there. My two favorites is definitely that one, where it's like the Joker's expecting all the Wall Street bet guys to bail out, and then Batman's just like, they're not gonna do it. Like, it's so good. The other one that was fantastic. Was the scene with the Joker and Harvey Dent in the hospital, where he's doing that speech of, you know, what is it? You know, you tell me that a hedge fund's going to make money and everyone thinks it's okay because it's all part of the plan. But one little trade goes for the investors and everyone loses their mind, you know? It's just so good what they've done with it. But yeah,
no. It was
I love the fact that, like, this is all literally based out of a community of memes. Like, what these guys have accomplished while referring to each other as R words, to me, there is a beauty of this that I just watching this people as a bunch of gaming degenerates just like give each other shit on a daily basis, and like this went off basically what started as a no balls type group to escalate to something that potentially is going to change the financial system forever. Oh my god.
Yep. Like, can you really believe that the thing that they're going to have to write in the history books is, and after sharing memes about a Dogecoin and GameStocks, as they called GameStonk, they proceeded to rocket emoji diamond hand to the moon. Like,
man, I want to, they should be the ones that get to write the book. Please let the guys from Wall Street Bets write that book. Write that book that has to be read out in history class. So basically, a bunch of R words with stimmy checks, led by a guy called Deep Fucking Value, decided to rage wank against an entire system of government and won. So, I'm sorry. It's so fucking good. It's unbelievably good. Oh my god. I love it so much. Yeah. I literally could talk about this for hours, boys, but I know you guys, it's quite late there. So any final thoughts from you, Hebrew?
Oh, I'm just fucking excited to see what will happen. I mean, win or lose, like, the big thing is that, you know, something did happen, something totally unprecedented, something that truly the world will not forget, and something that will create some form of everlasting action, you know, yet to be known. But yeah, it's just a really interesting time to be a part of this, especially. I feel like it's something everyone can resonate with to some level. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see what the end game is here.
What about you, Leland?
69,420 to the moon.
See, that's
69,420 rocket emoji, boom.
That's where you're wrong. See, that's not all you needed to say. What you need to do now is take a minute to shamelessly plug where people can find you, my man.
Oh, I was going there. Don't worry. I was giving you a little spot for the little plug machine. But no, I really do think that for somebody like me, who's an out-of-work musician who had my entire career just yanked from me, and to have all these bureaucratic people and billionaires not only not give a fuck and not do anything about it, but continue to make money off of people like me, the thought of being able to stand together and hold the line together and find a way to fight back is what this is about for me. So getting to be a part of that while releasing music under my name Plain Keys or in my band Try More Mojo, there's to not have the joy of getting to do that, to have this little win and to stand up with people like us who can't tour anymore and can't play shows and can't provide an income and also aren't getting any help for the places that need help, like Save Our Stages Act. We this is the big moment for us. This is the way to do it. So go listen to my down tempo music if this is stressing you all out. It's Plain Keys, Single Cloud Surfer. Dew Point EP is out next Thursday on February 4th on all streaming platforms, and it'll help you calm down, and hopefully you'll be rolling in tendies and we can listen to some music together.
That was one of the most.
And Valentine's Day is coming up, man. So everyone's going to need like a new playlist to fuck to. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's a good opportunity. Download some fresh jams, and just you'll be like mid thrust, and this new lady friend of yours will be saying, "Oh, this is a really good track. Who sang this?" Boom, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
And see, that's all I need. That's I'm glad you understand my my tactics and purpose of making music. So get real zonked out and have yourself a nice sex with a nice lady with all your tendies.
There you go. There you go.
So that makes me wonder now, has anyone ever released an album that's just basically called Songs to Fuck To? Because if they haven't, I mean, there's a free
so
title
much. Yeah, there's a genre called funk music, and they just changed a letter.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whole thing dedicated to it.
Also, I appreciate that compliment, Michael. I heard that.
All right, thanks, boys. I'll sign off by saying I'm actually going to quote someone that I actually quite hate. That in regards to all the WallStreetBets people and anyone just dabbling with this, we love you. You're very special. Yeah, just keep doing it, man. Like, honestly, watching this, it makes my heart sing as a nerd, man. And honestly, I wish that from where I am right now, I had the ability to actually trade in US stock markets. I'm not going to go too much into that situation, but I don't have the diamond hand support, but I mean, if there's anything else we can do, consider it done. And look, I'm just saying, if you have a bit of that fuck you money, I mean, just a reminder, we have a Patreon, man. I mean, we don't have fuck you money, but you're welcome to donate some. ANR Pod over on Patreon, patreon.com/ANR Pod. And what do you think about this whole situation? Head on over to our Discord, discord.me/ANR. We'd love to hear from you guys. Hebrew set up a stocks and finances section in there for exactly shit like this. It's a hell of an exciting time. I'm sure we're going to be talking about this on and off on the pod for a long time. But I think that'll do it, boys. Hebrew, thanks for coming.
Yep, no problem.
Leland, thanks to you, bud.
I appreciate you guys having me.
And I've been Chubo Grady 4. We'll catch you guys soon. Cheers.